What's up, guys? Good to see you and welcome to day 11 of the 21-day war on sugar. Paxton here hanging out with me, looking all dapper. It's cold outside, it's snowy, I've got to go to the gym, but before I do, I've got a bunch of stuff to do. First thing on the list, a few things I want to talk about while I share my keto coffee with you guys. Cheers. First thing is I've been experimenting with mushroom coffee. This is from a company called Four Sigmatic. There's a lot of different types of mushrooms that they extract. Each one has different benefits, so I'm going to cover them one by one. The first one, and perhaps the most popular, is called lion's mane. This is basically used for cognitive enhancement. The next one is called Chaga. This one has adaptogens that help boost your immune system. This one is called Cordyceps. Many of you have probably heard the word Cordyceps. It's used for performance enhancement. Interestingly enough, they noticed that ox that were in fields eating the Cordyceps mushrooms were all of a sudden frantic and full of energy, so they decided, hey, let's extract it and use it on ourselves. This one right here is called Reishi. The benefits of this are relaxation, and many people use it as a sleep aid. This one is probably my favorite. It is a blend of coffee, lion's mane, and chaga. They also add rhodiola inside this, which is a great cognitive booster. I really enjoy this stuff. It's got kind of an acquired taste. In the beginning, it tastes very earthy, but when you blend it with butter and coconut oil, it's off the hook. Unfortunately, the lion's mane, the cordyceps, and the reishi all contain a very small amount of stevia, which unfortunately I'm avoiding. When I'm done with this 21-day war on sugar, these are going to be back in. But for now, I'm just sticking with this blend right here, which does not contain stevia. And just for the record, stevia is generally safe, in my opinion, is the best natural sweetener there is. Okay, so a lot of people ask me which one I prefer, coconut oil or MCT oil. Here's my take on the two. I use them both for different reasons. Coconut oil I use as just an overall health benefit. You see, this contains lauric acid, which is antifungal, antibacterial, boosts your immune system. Overall, this is just extremely healthy stuff. Believe it or not, I can't stand the taste of coconut oil by itself. The only time I can take it is if I cook with it, or if I put it in my keto coffee. This MCT oil is actually super convenient. It's flavorless, odorless. Oftentimes I will take it off a teaspoon just like medicine. I'll mix it with my keto coffee. This I see as like a performance enhancement, okay? It is performance and cognitive benefits. It's very quick energy. It digests super quick. I always stick with C8. I stopped taking just regular MCT oil, which is usually a blend of the 4 different types of MCTs. This C8, 100% caprylic acid, digests super easy, doesn't upset my stomach. That's very important because I like taking it before my workout. Okay, so I just want to run through this really quickly for people who maybe are watching this for the first time. And the reason why I'm waging war on sugar is because it has such a devastating effect on your blood sugar levels. Now, when you spike your blood sugar, your pancreas responds by secreting a hormone called insulin. Insulin's job is to take that blood sugar and get it out of your bloodstream. It does that by shuttling it into either muscle cells or fat cells, okay? So when insulin is in your bloodstream, because it's trying to get glucose inside the fat cell, at the same time, it locks the fat cell. So, long story short, if you've got elevated insulin levels, it's impossible for you to burn fat. Now, there is something called the glycemic index. If you guys have never seen it before, I suggest you type in glycemic index, and there's a ton of different images you can look at. What the glycemic index does is it ranks different foods depending on how severely they spike your blood sugar. It's a very interesting list, and you can see which foods you're better off with and which foods you should avoid. But even more interesting, there is something called the insulin index. This ranks foods depending on how much they spike your insulin. What you'll find interesting when you see the insulin index is different protein sources that actually spike insulin a lot. Like meat in general does spike insulin. One thing that's fascinating is that eggs are the lowest on the list when it comes to protein and how much they spike insulin, which is probably why a lot of people resort to egg fasts. Now, I don't suggest you do egg fasts, but I do highly recommend you eat as many eggs as possible. One thing I want to say when it comes to protein, when you add fat to protein, it slows the digestion down, therefore minimizing impacts on blood sugar and therefore insulin. And ladies and gentlemen, that is actually why I am so anti-sugar, because sugar essentially spikes your blood sugar through the roof, causes your body to secrete tons of insulin, and you are in fat storage mode all day long. And I think it's kind of sad and tragic when most Americans walk around counting calories and just thinking a calorie is a calorie. If I eat a little bit less today, I'm gonna be good. What they don't realize is when they wake up in the morning and they have cereal, bang, up goes blood sugar, out comes insulin, fat storage mode. 3 hours later, they have a sandwich with white bread, and they eat half the sandwich thinking it's going to be okay because they're cutting their calories, but it does not matter. Your body is still going into fat storage mode. You see, it's just this never-ending roller coaster of blood sugar and insulin spikes. I think it's especially dangerous for children. Let's be honest, here in America, they feed our kids cheap crap carbs for lunch. And kids are just surrounded by sugar. It's just so easy for them to get. And so what you're doing is you're placing a huge demand on a child's pancreas and their hormone levels in general when you are just like, hey, let's wake up in the morning, have cereal, go to school, have pizza, come home, have potatoes. And you are just up and down, which is probably why this country is facing such a huge diabetes epidemic, especially among children. Knowledge is power, guys. So I'm getting ready to hit the gym. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take you guys with me this time. It's going to be a very serious workout. I'm going to be by myself. I'm just going to put my headphones in, get lost. I don't often get a chance to train by myself, so when I do, I want to take full advantage of it. I just like being able to have my mind just go. I don't want to worry about filming. I don't want to worry about anything else. I just want to cruise my way through my workout. Also, things are getting pretty serious here. I'm prepping for the appearance at the Arnold Classic. It's going to be a great time. So I will see you guys when I get back.
2 hours later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back from the gym. I had an awesome workout and I will definitely be ready for the Arnold Classic. So I'm sitting here in front of my first meal of the day. We have mahi mahi.
It's like Nike, man.
I'm not really that hungry, so can I just have one mahi?
Next to that, we have broccoli and cauliflower with some sea salt on top. And because the mahi mahi does not have a high fat content, it actually has way more protein than fat. Instinctively, I just said, okay, I need to add some fat. So what I did was I took half an avocado and I drizzled some olive oil on top of that and put a little bit of sea salt on it. So I want to answer a few questions that I always get about my training. First thing I want to say is this. I've been in the gym pretty much all my life. I train instinctive. Probably doesn't surprise a lot of people because I instinctively diet. I do the same with my training. What that means basically is that I let my body take over. So for example, I always have a target. Like today was chest and back. So I already know my target, all right? Now, since I have so much experience in the gym, I view exercises as weapons, all right? And so as I go through my workout, I pick different weapons that suit my needs, and I kind of go with the flow. I don't have it planned out where I'm going to do this exercise followed by this exercise followed by that exercise. I just let my instincts take over. If I feel like starting off with pull-ups, I'm going to do it. If after that I feel like doing incline press, I do it. I make that decision on the spot, and I use my emotions and how I feel to dictate what I do next. Now, I realize a lot of people can't get themselves to that point right now. They're maybe just starting. That is something you develop over time. time. The other thing is people always ask me what my rep ranges are. You know, how many do I lift heavy, or do I go for high volume, low weight, high reps? The answer to that is I take kind of a mixture of both. Again, I train instinctive. So if I get to the gym and I feel strong, I feel like crushing stuff, I'm gonna lift heavier than usual. If I get to the gym and I kind of feel weak, I'm not really feeling it that much, I'll switch to getting more of like a pump, going for high reps, focusing on form and things like that. But typically, I do 3 sets typically. So the first set, my mentality is kind of engage myself in the exercise, go through my checklist of doing things right in terms of proper form. I want to make sure that I'm isolating the muscle completely. So that means, you know, if I'm doing bicep curls, that I'm not using my shoulders and things like that. I iron all of those things out. So my first set is extremely high reps, okay? Because I don't really care. The whole point is dialing everything in, connecting my mind to the muscle that I'm about to hit. So the first set could be anywhere from 15 to 20 reps, sometimes 20 to 25. I really just go until I say to myself, okay, I got the target locked in, let's rock and roll. So the next set after that, I go a little bit heavier. I take the rep range down. So I go like typically 8 to 10 or 10 to 12, all right? I still focus on my form. I'm still making sure that I isolate the muscle. The third set, I grip it and rip it, okay? So that's when I add a lot of weight and I go for like 4 to 6 reps. So I take the reps down, increase the weight. So when I do that, that allows me to really stress the muscle, and I typically always go to failure on that set. What I do after that is very important. I push past muscle failure. So I employ a few strategies. Drop sets, where you take 50% of the weight off and continue pushing out reps. Negative reps is where you hit failure and you have somebody help you with the weight, and then you slowly focus on the eccentric part of the movement for like a 5 count. So if you're on bench press, you're pushing up and then you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your spotter is going to bring it back up. If you're training by yourself, that's very difficult. You should stick to drop sets. Forced reps are also good, meaning you try and crank 1 out, 1 extra rep, 2 extra reps, and you have a spotter help you with that. The final strategy that I use is isometrics. I'm going to be covering isometrics a lot more in future videos. They're an incredible way to stimulate muscle activity, and they will absolutely destroy the muscles. I get the question about cardio a lot. Cardio, in my opinion, is not essential for fat burning. I don't typically use cardio that much. I prioritize my strength training. When I do cardio, it is no more than 10 to 12 minutes after my workout. A big mistake is doing cardio before your workout. But what I like doing more is Tabata, which is super high intensity interval training. You go between bouts of 10 seconds rest with 20 seconds of something super high intensity like speed jump roping, sprinting on the treadmill and stuff like that. Cardio definitely has a place in fitness, and it's extremely beneficial for your cardiovascular health. There is no problem with doing it. I just caution people who prioritize it when the real goal is to build muscle and lean out. I don't believe you're going to be able to just run on a treadmill for an hour and a half a day. I feel like you'll get burned out very quickly. And from my perspective, I've always kind of looked down on cardio because it was always a punishment for me. It was always like, oh shit, I have to lose 3 pounds in 24 hours. I'm going to go run up a hill in garbage bags. So I don't have a very good connection with cardio, but I do know a lot of people who find salvage in cardio. Like just getting on the Stairmaster for 15, 20 minutes, taking a jog around the neighborhood, swimming laps, kind of gives them peace of mind, lets them lose themselves. And that is totally okay. If you love cardio, keep doing it. Another question I get asked a lot is how often I train abs. The answer is I train abs every other day, and I always hit them at the end of the workout. Now, I typically go between doing a floor routine on some days, and then on other days I add resistance. So for example, I will do a weighted ab machine or a sit-up using a decline bench holding a weight. Abs are just like any other muscle. You must allow them time to rest. So if I ever get into an ab exercise or an ab routine and I feel sore, I'll just back off completely and listen to my body and make sure that my abs are fully healed before I stimulate them and cause more damage. Another question I get asked a lot is how often I take rest days. Early in my career, I was very bad at taking rest days. I would overtrain myself to death. Then I realized that an important part of building muscle is resting. You see, when you train in the gym and you cause stress, muscle damage, you actually rip the muscle fibers apart, okay? Now, that's a good thing, but you must allow them to actually grow back. And what they do is they overlap, so they grow stronger to prevent further damage the next time you go to the gym. That's how you get stronger. But if you never allow them to grow back, you're just gonna get weaker and weaker. Now, I do not schedule rest days. I take rest days instinctively, how I feel. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm just totally sore, lack of energy, I will take a rest day because I know that even though mentally it's hard to do, it'll actually be a benefit in the end. Okay, shameless plug real quick, I almost forgot. I have a workout program. Obviously, if you guys are interested, it is available. Link is in the description below. I'm gonna give you a $5 off coupon, which means the program is only $15. I think this program is especially good for beginners. It follows a different strategy. I didn't want to come out with a program that was like, hey, you gotta do this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, rest on Thursday, because I knew that people they have their own lives and things come up. Like if I'm supposed to do chest on Wednesday and all of a sudden I have to take my son to the hospital and I don't work out, then I'm all of a sudden off the program. So instead what I did was I came out with 30 of my own personal workouts. I literally just went to the gym 30 days and wrote out my personal workouts. You complete them at your own pace. You take rest days when you feel like it's necessary. It's a good introduction to lead towards instinctive training. So the training split changes throughout the entire program. You don't stay on one split for very long. That's just the approach I take. My training split changes like every 2 weeks. I like changing it up. I like mixing things up. There's a lot of amazing exercises. All you need is a gym membership. There are alternatives for different exercises, along with links to bodybuilding.com that shows demonstration of the exercises. It includes low intensity, steady state cardio, Tabata, shocker techniques that I use. There are a few challenging workouts, a few of my masterpiece, crazy, workouts in it. So far, I've been very proud of it because people are absolutely loving it. They're loving the format. They're loving the different exercises, the supersets, drop sets, negative reps. So if you guys are interested in a workout program, click the link in the description below. If you are doing your own program and you are finding success, keep rocking out. Hey Paxton, did you have a great time at Great Play? So guys, we are back home obviously, and I am getting ready to cook some dinner. I'm going to try lamb chops for the very first time ever. I'm very excited about it. Carly doesn't want to eat Little Bo Peep, she said, so I'm gonna make her and Paxton some hamburgers. I appreciate you following along with me today. I appreciate your love and support. We are one big giant family. I will see you guys tomorrow. Stay positive, keep going strong, and much love.